And we start with some really disturbing news. And Brandon, I want you to jump on. I know Kevin gave us some details, but give us some more. Julio Urias from the Dodgers, their left-handed pitcher, Andy is in some major trouble because this is not strike number one. He's done this before and had a suspension with Major League Baseball, but now we got another situation.
Yeah, this is he's been arrested for felony domestic violence in Los Angeles. Now, there is a user on Reddit. Now, this is not 100% confirmed. Again, this is just Reddit. But somebody wrote on Reddit that they work at BMO Stadium, and my coworkers were the ones that pulled him off of her. Apparently, he pushed her against the fence and was hitting her until they came to stop it. They said someone was taking a video, so maybe it will surface at some point. Also, they said they watched Julio get into the car with her and continue to hit her. Now, this is from someone on Reddit. It's not
right. This is
completely
not being
confirmed.
reported by anybody. Please
No,
do,
this is
right.
this is on Reddit. So
Okay.
obviously the details are still very
right. Give us what we
unknown.
have from the police, and that's the story.
Yeah, this is his second offense. He's been arrested on felony domestic violence charges, and the Dodgers, I believe, have put out some sort of statement just saying that they're aware of the arrest at this point.
Hey, Andy, let's go here.
Well, the big news here is that no Major League Baseball player has ever been suspended twice for violating the policy. So that's big. This is the second time, but we'll see what happens. I mean,
Right, baseball takes this very seriously. You've seen the penalties that they've thrown out at people, right? I mean,
Right.
people get suspended, and if you're let's look at it a couple ways. If you're the Dodgers, aren't you going? Oh, here we go. Don't forget they had Trevor Bauer, who pitched in Cincinnati, had the incident, and while he didn't have any criminal charges, they wound up having to eat that guy's contract and not pitch for them. And you remember he won the Cy Young in Cincinnati.
yes, he did. Yeah.
And the Dodgers would rather not have him wear their uniform again. And I get that, Andy. I really do. Like, you own an organization, you're able to say who you want to represent you. Remember, when you wear that jersey, it doesn't have your name across the front. Your name might be on the back, but it represents the city and the organization. And I think you got to take that very seriously.
I don't
But
think
you're
we'll
the
ever see
Dod-
Trevor
go ahead.
Bauer. Yeah, we'll never see Trevor Bauer in the major leagues again. We
You
won't.
think so?
I mean, it's a shame what happened to him, really. But to hit a woman, I mean, that to me,
Allegedly, remember.
allegedly hitting a woman. But look, for Julio Urias, I mean, it's the second domestic violence arrest in the last 4 years. Okay, and I think people are going crazy. Look, I get it. You're a Dodger fan. You're more concerned about your Dodgers than the woman he hit. I get that. That's
You
the way
know
it
it
is.
only because of what has happened to them, right? I mean,
Right.
They just had a 24-4 August. Okay, Andy, you can't play any better than that in baseball, right? 24-4.
And he's won like
Then-
the second number of wins on the team. Like Kershaw's got 12 wins. He's got like 11, right?
Right. And then the Braves come in and beat you up 3 out of 4, right? And now you're losing one of your starting pitchers.
Right. I think that there's no need to panic if you're a Dodger fan because they're 14 and a half games up on Arizona in their division. The Braves probably the best team in baseball, but I will
Right,
say
but
this.
but ultimately
the good
they want
news
to
is
win
he's
a
not-
World Series, don't they?
Right,
They want
but
to
the
win a
good
World
news is
Series.
he's not an everyday player. If you're an everyday player, I think it would be worse. Be a worse situation.
Oh, I don't know, because you need pitching in the postseason. And
I agree.
That's
I
been
agree.
the Dodgers' bugaboo. And if you remember when they lost to the Padres last year, the Padres had the better pitching. And now they're going to probably, right? I mean, I just can't see how he's going to be back. Do you? I mean, not this season.
No. But you know what? You and I have gone down the other path as well. We're talking about what's going to happen to the Dodgers as opposed to what should happen to this gentleman, and I hate to use the term gentleman, who's beaten up on a woman for the second time in 4 years. I mean, really? How do you do that? I mean, that thought would never even occur to me to touch a woman.
Now, if this is the case and the Dodgers gave him an opportunity, right, before, if he's found guilty of these charges, I can't see him wearing a Dodgers uniform. Are you
I'm
with
with
me
you.
on this?
Yeah. But the first one, 4 years ago, he was not charged. Okay, he did get a 20-game suspension. So even if
Because
he's
you
not charged,
remember, you don't have to be charged to get a suspension from Major League Baseball because
Correct.
it's the same thing. Trevor Bauer never was found guilty criminally, but it didn't matter. It doesn't matter when you're under the CBA. They still can take sanctions against you.
So what if he gets suspended to the remainder of the season and let him play in the playoffs? We don't know what could happen here.
Do you think the Dodgers, if he's suspended and all these allegations are true, you think he's going to wear a Dodger uniform again?
If they're true, no. Okay, but
they're true though. They did it. They could have. They needed pitching.
If he's not charged,
no. But I'm saying, but Trevor Bauer got off
yeah.
without criminal charges, right?
Right.
They could have brought him back. They could have. The Dodgers decided to pour ketchup on that $23 million and eat it, Andy, rather than bring the guy back.
I'm with you. And it was a first-time deal for him, whereas it's a second-time deal for Urias.
This is what I'm saying.
It's not good. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for anybody, even if you're not a professional baseball player. If you're a salesman in an office and you're involved with this, it's not a good look. But look, you're on a big stage when you're a professional athlete, and he's on a big stage, and it's disgusting. I'll tell you that.
No, I'm with you. I'm not making any excuses. I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of what do you do if you're the Dodgers? You're trying to win a World Series. This guy helps you. I think Brandon, help me look it up. Is he supposed to be a free agent after this season?
Yes. Yes.
My goodness, great, Andy. I mean, you're talking about timing.
Right.
Like it couldn't be any worse, right? First of all, you're going to be suspended probably if these allegations are true. And then you got to deal with that. Now nobody wants to bring you in. Imagine a press conference, right? That's why Trevor Bauer is pitching in Japan, because nobody's going to have that press conference, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can't, because, number one, it's not a good look, number one. Number two, you have too many social groups, women groups that would come and it would be ugly. You can't do that. And it's wrong. It's wrong to bring it back. Is winning more important than having a good look? I don't know. I mean, maybe to some ownership people it is. I mean, you look at the owner of the old Washington, then Redskins Commanders. I mean, he was a nut job, right? It was a bad look for him in the NFL. They made him sell the team.
Right. I'm just curious. So I guess this would be it's twofold. I want to hear from as many people who can call in on this, because this is an issue that has happened before in baseball. And who was the Mets shortstop who got a ton of I should have his name in front of me. We'll take a look at it. There's a number of guys. Aroldis Chapman for the Yankees. You remember he got suspended.
Yeah.
There's a number of guys who have gotten suspended. But what do you do? This is the scenario. Say he gets suspended. Well, I just can't see if him pitching this year. If he's found guilty of this stuff, you know what I mean? And it's going to take a while, right? So he's suspended with pay. We're already into September. There's only 3.5 weeks left to the regular season.
Right. And
there's no way he'll be back this year, right?
Right. No, he won't be back. Well, look, as I say, this is the second time this happened with him, okay? And the first time, he got a 20-game suspension.
Jose Reyes was the shortstop for the Mets who got it, right?
But they also
Didn't
have
he
a
get
minor league.
65 games?
Yeah, but they have a minor league player by the name of Christopher Larez. He was suspended 56 games. And back in, this past August, I think August 21st it was, suspended 56 games for the drug program. So the drug program is worth a bigger suspension than domestic violence? What am I missing here?
Well, but they have given, I'm trying to remember, they've given out lengthy suspensions to people. We'll take a look at the exact number, but as a second-time offense, don't you think and even though he didn't get charged the first time, he still got suspended for 20 games on Major League Baseball. So this is going to be counted as a second violation, correct?
Of course. Yes.
Yeah. So for a second time, it's bad you got 20 games, right? And now what do they give you? The rest of the season, the postseason, and the first two months or a month of the 2024? I mean, that's what it could be,
But
Andy.
again, you have some ball clubs that say it's no big whoop because the Mets did sign Jose Reyes after a domestic violence situation.
How many games did he get? 65?
Something like that.
He got
51.
a lot of. Well, how many was it?
It was 51 games.
51
51.
Games.
That's a lot of games, Andy.
59 games, I think it was. 59. something like in the 59, I think it was. But again, why would the Mets even touch this guy? Come on, domestic violence. To me, domestic violence. Bye, see ya. But I guess
that was years ago. Things have changed since then. Andy, would you give me that? I mean, Reyes wasn't 100 years ago, but people
like
are way more.
I think
people are way more conscious about it. And I think the Trevor Bauer thing, where the Dodgers had to eat so much money, they could have hid behind the ruling and saying he wasn't criminally charged. They could have said that, and that wasn't good enough. Baseball, when they suspended him, they gave him a hefty suspension. Even the players' union didn't bellyache. Remember that?
Right.
Which is shocking.
I just think the whole situation, one shot and you're gone. That's the way it should be, right?
I don't know about that.
Really?
You shouldn't do it, Andy. I'm with you, but I don't want to be able to.
So you give him a second chance after beating the heck out of a woman.
Oh,
I mean,
I hear what you're saying. But I hate to say.
I'd like to hear from some women when you open the phone lines. I'd like to hear what they have to say. I really do.
I'm with you. 877-99 on Fox. 877-996-6369. We want to hear from you. This is a topic that is very, very
it's touchy
to deal with and talk about. But what would you do if you're the Dodgers ownership or management and Julio Urias is a free agent after this season? He is one of their best pitchers. You're trying to win another World Series. They won in 2020, but they have a great team. And maybe he might not help you this year, but would you want to bring him back next year? Could you sign him to a new long-term contract as a free agent if he can't play the rest of the year? We want to hear from you. 877. Go ahead.
You bring up an interesting point. I didn't mean to interrupt, but it would be interesting. And I know they wouldn't talk. I'd love to see a reporter go into the Dodgers locker room and ask a player, don't even give me your name. Nameless. What do you think? Should the Dodgers? Would you like to see him as your teammate? Should they bring him back?
Well, can I say this?
If I'm an editor of the LA Times, I send my beat guy down there. Don't even put their name in the paper. Just say unnamed Dodgers were polled today, and we found out a majority said we don't want him back here.
Well, I'll say this with the Trevor Bauer thing. I think it made the Dodgers' decision really easy because. If you remember, Andy, none of the players would talk about Trevor Bauer, and they totally scrubbed him from their social media, when that happened. So they saw the pictures, which were gruesome, and decided not to mess with him. So we want to hear from you. What would you do in this dire situation? Allegedly, Julio Urias has beaten up a woman. It's been arrested. Major League Baseball. And the Dodgers will act. He's not traveling with the team. The Dodgers are in Miami, I think, tomorrow, right, to start a new series with the Marlins. 877-99 on Fox. It is the Odd Couple on a Magic City Monday. We want to hear from you, Julio Urias, domestic violence arrest. The Dodgers, he will not travel with the team. He's surely to be suspended by Major League Baseball. Well, what should be done? He's going to be a free agent. After this season, we saw what happened with Trevor Bauer. There's a long list of people. There was another. Andy, do you remember Addison Russell with the Cubs? You remember that guy? He was a young shortstop. You remember that kid?
Yes.
And he had one. He got suspended for 40 games in 2018. He disappeared. But some guys have made it back. Aroldis Chapman had 30 games in 2016. And he came back. And also Domingo Germán with the Yankees. He had got 81 game suspension in January 2020, and he's back with the Yankees. So you can make your way back, but this is a second offense, and Julio Urias, 20 games in August of 2019. We want to hear from you, 877-99 on Fox.
The ladies are here too, Rob. The lady, Darlene in Anaheim. You're on The Odd Couple.
Well, I'm a huge Julio fan, so let me preface it by saying that.
Okay.
But he will never play for the Dodgers again. And I also want to say you're innocent until proven guilty. And what happened in 2009, he didn't punch her, he pushed her. And that's, I think, a little bit different, and that's why charges were not filed. I would like to see what the circumstances are. But what I think is interesting is both cases he was out in public. The first time he was at a mall, and last night, I guess he went to the soccer game, and he was outside of the soccer game.
Right, and people witnessed it. You know what I mean? Like they had to take him
Yeah.
off of her. I mean,
Yeah, they
that's
said there's
the-
some tape. Reddit's got some tape, allegedly, they say.
yeah. If they have video, which is just if you're the Dodgers or baseball, you got to be sick over this. Absolutely. Thanks so much for the call. We appreciate
All right.
that. And yeah, that the first instance was back in 2019.
Right.
Oh,
Rosemary in San Diego, you're on The Odd Couple.
All right. Well, let me just say I'm a born and raised Vero Beach Floridian. I've been following the Dodgers since they started in Florida, and I have to think about the whole situation with Julio. And you know, if it were, you know, first offense, second offense, here we are. That's what we're seeing in public.
Right.
What's happening in private? You know,
Behind closed
like-
doors, that's a great point because Andy,
It
you
is.
know,
Yeah, you're right.
if you're willing to do this in public in front of other people, what
That's
are you?
a great point.
That
Yes.
is that is an outstanding point.
And then also, like, put yourself, let's say it's your mom. Let's say that it wasn't his wife, it was just your mother, like in general. Would you be okay with someone continually hitting your mom over and over again? You know,
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff
know.
there to unpack, and you're right. And I think you saw how the Dodgers wearing that uniform, Andy, and you noticed they're one of the blue bloods.
Yes, they
They
are.
said Trevor Bauer, we don't care if you were criminally not charged. You will not wear a Dodger uniform. We don't care.
Right. And I'd love to hear, as I said early on, the clubhouse, what they'd say, maybe without names, and maybe some of the former Dodgers. And they get a hold of Sandy Koufax. What would Sandy have to say about this? I want to hear what these guys have to say. Really? Right? Wouldn't you?
877-99 on Fox.
Manuel in Gardena, how you doing?
Rob Parker.
What's
up, Rob?
How are
What's
you?
up, Big Andy?
How
Rob
you
Parker.
doing?
Sidekick.
Manny, what's up?
I'm splendid, man. So, hey, you know, as a Mexican American, as a lifelong Dodger fan, I'm really, really disappointed in Julio. You guys make some great points. That lady who just called made a great point.
Yes, she did.
Like,
'Cause
we
if you-
see, yeah, because you know it goes on behind closed doors.
right.
So, to what extent, you know, it's kind of scary because I got sisters, man, and I was brought up by my pops. You never put your hands on a woman,
Yep.
no matter what. If there's a problem escalating, you leave.
You leave.
Go.
Go the
You
other
know what I
way.
mean?
Exactly.
Take a breather, go get a motel room. The guy got money, so there's really no excuse. And the other thing is, man, how stupid do you got to be if you're Julio, man? Like, seriously, this, like you guys said, this is the second time that it's happened in public, man. Then
Yep.
the other thing, to compound it, you know, his agent Boras was speaking out of turn like last week, just talking all kinds of smack on the Dodgers. And now his boy does this, man. Like she said, I probably think that Julio has pitched his last game at Chavez Ravine. And unfortunately, man, it's his own doing because that stuff can't be tolerated, man. Whether
Nope.
it's the Dodgers,
Right.
whether it's the Cincinnati Reds,
No.
it don't matter what organization you're in. You're a Major League Baseball player. You got
Baseball's
a
not,
million
and you know what,
little kids.
man?
Not just baseball. If you work for company ABC, it should be tolerated.
But
Oh,
baseball's
at my
not going.
job, I'll be fired.
Oh yeah,
Right.
no, there's no doubt about it. That's where we are in this world. People do not take lightly to that. So other guys, we appreciate you calling in. We might have to get to you guys. Maybe call a little later on. We kind of ran out of time on this, but very interesting. Some great points, Andy, by some of the listeners here on The Odd Couple.